What is your favorite TV show
Oh,
of
of
all
of
time?
all time. Wow, that's kind of.
Because the reason I bring this up is because the film that we're covering today is an adaptation of my favorite TV show of all time.
I was gonna say you're a big. This is you're a staunch supporter of the
It's my
Last
favorite
Air.
TV show. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I'm not a huge
you.
TV guy, so it's not like I have like a deep bench of stuff that I'm super into. So, it's maybe not a monumental statement, but yeah, The Last Airbender, yeah, that's my favorite TV show of all time. And that's the film we're covering. I'm just curious what yours is. Or if you could even make a statement like that, because you watch a ton of TV.
I at one point I was. I think I had my ranking.
Yeah, yeah, you had
Like,
like your running ranking just in your pocket.
yeah, my annual yearly ranking of the top 35 shows that I would watch.
I
And
don't know if I've ever seen 35 TV shows in
that's a
total.
lot. A lot of people say that. I don't know. It's just I had my little ritual. It's like, oh, this week I got two episodes of this week, or Tuesday, two episodes of this, Wednesday, two episodes of this, Thursday,
Mm,
two, and I would just do that. Off the top of my head, I don't know. I kind of still lean to Game of Thrones, just even though it
mm.
ended, whatever. Just that it was so like I've never been shaking visible,
Just
like
so into, yeah.
just literally at the like credits roll, and I'm sitting there shaking, and I did that for I think three episodes.
Okay. Yeah, I know you
Because
love that one. Yeah,
yeah, and people criticize the ending, and David and Dan's writing ended up just, it got pretty poor at the end, but
sure.
it's still like the set pieces, the action. That might be my favorite. I always go to like, I me with my favorite and best list, like overall and then favorite.
Yeah, right.
As far as the overall, I kind of gravitate towards Breaking Bad just because it's like five straight seasons of just
Yeah,
excellence.
yeah, yeah. That's the
Have you?
one that I almost finished. So that should tell you how much I like that one.
Oh wow, how
I
far did you get
almost
in it?
there was like three episodes left, and I just sort of never finished it. I don't
What?
know why. I don't remember why I never finished it. And now I'm at
See,
the point where I'm just like, it's kind of funny that I never finished it. So I think I'll just keep it that
you're
way.
gonna keep it as the punchline. Wow,
But
no,
great
that's
show.
I loved it. And
I feel like Breaking Bad is like the Sopranos of our generation. Like I remember the Sopranos being such a big deal when we were like young. Like that was like, oh my God,
yeah,
TV can be this good. And I feel like Breaking Bad was like the next step in that. So I get the love for that show.
I'm halfway through the second season of The Sopranos, and I'm loving it.
My
It's
girlfriend's been watching a lot. I've been dipping in, checking out every episode every once in a while. Really enjoyed it. So I started the first. I'm on like two episodes in. Very good. I think I'm just gonna go see the Many Saints of Newark, not having
sure.
watched really any of it. Just say fuck it and go see it.
That's pretty
But
cool. You can
yeah,
do that.
yeah. But yeah, Sopranos is great.
Well, just the two leads, like the cast, the
it,
spot
it
on casting,
yes,
like Gandolfini and Edie Falco are just.
they're incredible.
It's you can't cast those characters better.
Gandolfini is just one of the fucking greats. Just one of the
He
all-time greats.
well, he explodes the second season. Like I kind of
Oh,
gave the first season a little bit to Edie, and then the second season, I'm like, no, this is the Gandolfini show.
hell
Like
yeah. I love
he's
him.
yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah. Well, enough TV talk. What do you say we talk a little bit about some movies coming up?
Oh dang, I was about to bring up The Leftovers.
Oh, that's fine. Talk about the leftovers.
I just love it. I've watched it a couple times. It's so unique and so just I don't know.
I've never seen the leftovers.
I know, and you should. I think everyone should because yeah, no, it's just one of those shows where you're oh man, especially this one episode where you're like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And you can't look
That's
away.
what is it, Lindelof or whatever?
Yeah,
David Lindelof. Yeah.
Damian Lindelof.
Yeah.
And you got this Max Richter score, just this operette, just like,
Mm.
oh my God, just watch the first 15 minutes. If that doesn't hook you, first 15 minutes of season one, episode one, if that doesn't
Yeah.
hook you, then nothing will.
Was that HBO?
Yeah, I know you'll love it.
Well, all right.
Yeah. All right. That's enough TV.
That's enough TV talk for this show.
Well, I did want to kind of talk about the Airbender a little bit today because
So we're going to be talking about it.
Superior product than what
Oh,
we
yes. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about M. Night Shyamalan's 2010 film, The Last Airbender. I guess I could do the intro, huh? I could probably intro the show.
do the intro. I'll look up
I'll tell you the name of the show. Welcome, everyone, to Film School Dropouts. This is a movie podcast. Each season, we cover a director's full filmography, even if it includes movies like The Last Airbender. And this season, we're covering all the films of M. Night Shyamalan. And today we're covering, and I'm going to say this possibly my least favorite movie I've ever watched.
Wow.
The Last Airbender.
Well, I figured this would hit home for you since you have such a.
It is tough. It is a tough watch for me, and we'll get into all that. And I don't want to make this an episode about me comparing the movie to the TV show, although that's probably just going to happen naturally. I'm going to try and keep the talk focused on the actual movie. But yeah, this is, I mean, my favorite television show of all time, Avatar: The Last Airbender. 3 perfect seasons.
Nickelodeon.
Yep, great animated series. Love it so much. And we're going to talk about M. Night Shyamalan's attempt to bring that to the big screen and what happened there. But first, why don't we talk some little movies?
All right, let's talk a little movie.
Let's talk, and I hope you got something good, because this is going to be a bit of a downer episode for me.
Sure. I figured this was going to be a rough episode. Yeah. I watched a little movie the other day. It's actually a newer one. Came out in 2019.
Oh, okay.
Do you know Stephen Merchant?
I do know Stephen Merchant. Yeah,
I love Stephen Merchant. He's hilarious. Yeah. He actually has an excellent show on HBO called Hello Ladies. It's hilarious.
Okay.
He actually, I think he directed a movie of it. It's his one bag, I think, for the Hello Ladies like whole thing.
Yeah.
He basically because he's 6'8" and
he's a monster. Yeah,
and he can't get a girlfriend, and there's a lot of comedy then. So anyway, he directed a movie in 2019 with Florence Pugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's a semi-autobiography. It's a fictional character, but it's based on the WWE wrestler Paige. It's called Fighting with My Family.
Right. I kind of forgot about Fighting with My Family. I never saw it.
It wasn't bad.
I heard it's like a pretty charming movie.
Well, you know what you're getting into when you sit down and it comes up with WWE Studios.
Right.
But this was, I was expecting guns ablaze and whatnot. No, I wasn't, because I saw the trailer. But that's usually their bag.
They make shit like The Marine and
sure.
I don't know, whatever.
The Marine 2,
The Marine
3.
yeah, whatever Randy Orton movies coming out. Right. Yeah, they don't make great movies.
All right, well, let's back up off the Viper a little bit. So.
Oh, I love Randy Orton.
Yeah, he's awesome.
The Apex Predator himself.
Nice.
But Fighting with My Family seemed like it was sort of like a sweet biopic.
Yeah, it was a good time. I didn't knock my socks off or anything, but it was fun. I had a good time with it. And Florence, I'll watch anything she's in. I think she's a crazy talented. She's
one of the like most exciting like up and coming actresses of the last like 5 years.
Absolutely, yeah.
She just keeps hitting home runs.
I can't really spot a weakness in her game. Like
she can pretty much do anything. Yeah,
and I had a good time watching her. And so yeah, I went with Fighting with My Family. It's decent. And check it out. What do you got for me?
Well, I'm bringing the conclusion to my trilogy of me talking about Titane on this podcast, because I brought it up a long time ago as an upcoming movie that I was excited about. I brought it up again when it won the Palme d'Or, and I'm bringing it up now because I just saw it yesterday.
So the first time you brought it up, I didn't hear it. I had no idea what it was about.
Yeah.
Then I watched the trailer and I was like, this looks incredible.
Yeah.
And I got extremely excited for it.
Yeah.
But this is your baby, pretty much. So,
I love this movie so much. It's directed by Julia Ducournau, who did Raw, another movie that I just completely adore. And that was why I had my eyes on this movie in the first place. And then the buzz started happening. The reviews started rolling in. It wins the Palme d'Or at Cannes. And I was just like, here we go. Like, here we freaking go. So we go, me and my girlfriend go and see it yesterday. Just a warning to anyone going to see this movie. It's intense.
Like on a scale of 1 to Dunkirk.
Oh, totally different. No. Totally different. No, Dunkirk is intense because a lot of bombs are going off. This movie's intense because like it is so viscerally graphic and so disgusting.
Okay.
Oh, it's brutal. Ducournau, I think, is like the heir apparent to David Cronenberg. She's made 2 like pretty perfect allegorical body horror movies that are fucking revolting to look at, and I love both of them so much. And Titane is just it's easily my favorite movie of the year so far. And I can't get over it. And I don't want to talk about like what's in it, because if you've seen the trailer and you're into the trailer, I don't want to like spoil anything that happens in the movie, because it's just so shocking and so like exciting.
I think I did it right with the trailer. As soon as I watched it, I kind of tried to forget about it.
Well, the trailer's perfect because there's no dialogue in the trailer, because it's a French film and they just went all with music and images in the trailer.
Okay.
So you don't really like, even after watching the movie, I was like, oh, that trailer doesn't give you anything at all.
Well, that's good. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So it's just one of those movies where, like, not to spoil our episode on Old, which is coming up that we've already recorded, but there's a moment in Old where M. Night sort of walks up to a line, and I'm like, he's not gonna go all out with this, is he? And he does, and it's so shocking.
Yeah.
This movie does that probably like 30 times, and every time it happens, it's like I'm like throwing up the metal horns and just hooting and hollering, and like, I can't believe this movie's going to this place. It's crazy.
So I gotta go see this immediately.
See it in theaters, see it immediately. It's extremely good. I'm probably gonna go see it again. So, like,
now when you say Cronenberg, I get a little iffy.
I know.
You think I like this?
I don't see why not. I mean, it's graphic. That's the only thing I'll say. Like, my girlfriend is very bad with like gore and like stuff like that. She's very quick to like hide her eyes, which she did once in the movie. And it was a very intense scene, but she even sat through the whole thing, and like, she more or less liked it a lot. So
this makes me want to take some people and go see it like immediately.
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it in a pretty empty theater, but there were two senior citizens sitting behind us, and I really wish I could have seen like their faces, but they stayed through the whole movie. They didn't get up and walk out, which there were ample opportunities for them to be like, no, fuck this, I'm leaving. So Titan, great movie, great like body horror thriller.
Okay.
And also kind of a very sweet movie if you think about it in a certain way. So I mean, I know you haven't seen it yet, and I'm not giving you anything, so that's that. But yeah, everyone go see this fucking movie in theaters. It is a experience.
Yeah, that's pretty. It's pretty big selling.
Yeah, I think the difference. You brought up Dunkirk, and like the difference is Dunkirk makes you tense up and go like, oh no, like how are they going to get out of this? Like this is, oh no, life and death.
Yeah, when there's the ticking of my heart throughout the whole thing.
Exactly. Titan doesn't make you tense up. It makes you like shrivel up and groan and be like, oh no, like,
oh.
But it's great. Loved it.
Okay.
Great way to start off fucking Spooktober.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I'll touch on a little spooky stuff by the end of the episode. Who knows?
Oh, I love that. Because there's not much spooky stuff in this movie we're discussing, and we're going to discuss it right now.
He is the last of his kind. All that remains of a once powerful nation. Some think he is a myth. Some believe he is the chosen one, who will bring balance to a world at war. And some will stop at nothing to destroy him.
This wasn't a horror film?
This was a horror of a film.
So at this point, let's talk about what's going on with M. Night in his career.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with M. Night.
I think
he's coming off of two not out and out bombs, but two pretty critically reviled movies.
Well, we did mention that The Happening was made a little bit more money.
Made some money, yeah. And it was cheaper, so not like crazy cheap, but
so I mean, you can see why the studios would seek him out. They see the arrows ticking up. Even though
money is coming in,
money, and that's what the studios care. They really don't care.
It's true.
I mean, unless you're A24, you're not really caring about the
exactly.
The critics and whatnot.
No, exactly. But
so I get why a studio gave them the money to make it. They saw it as a decent bet. They're taking a popular property, very popular, extremely popular property, taking a successful director, and they cast. Let's talk about the cast a little bit.
Okay. Well, I want to keep talking about M. Night for a second because I think what you're bringing up is a good point because it's one of those things where it's like this is a very popular property, especially at the time. The show had just ended, I think, maybe 3 years prior.
Okay.
And
now Legend Avatar, of Korra wasn't out yet.
I do not believe Legend of Korra had started yet. I don't know the exact timetable.
Sequel series.
Korra is the sequel series. which I don't think had come out at the time, because I'm pretty sure that Korra felt sort of to the fans like, oh, thank God, like, you know, a little bit of a reprieve from whatever this movie was.
Okay.
You know, but like you said, it kind of does. It doesn't make sense to get M. Night. He had been very vocal about his love of the show, and like him and his daughter and wife watching it, and they love the show. So in that regard, plus the fact that even with The Happening and Lady in the Water being not super profitable, but they weren't like out and out. Well, Lady in the Water, I think, was a pretty bad bomb.
Pretty bad.
That one. But Happening made some money. So like I understand
more than double of Lady in the Water.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I understand the studio being like, well, yeah, let's let this guy do his thing. What I don't understand is the studio hiring him just based on his skill set, because he's not an action guy. He doesn't do action. This is an action franchise.
Yeah, I mean,
this is not a guy who has ever done action. So
up to this point, there is zero indication of any action.
No, he has no skills with it. No, I'm not saying that like he's, you know, inherently going to be bad at it, but yeah, it's not.
They took a chance.
And also, like, not a CGI guy either. You know,
no,
I would say Lady in the Water is probably the most CGI he had ever used in a movie.
I feel like it is. He is going back to it more and more. Like it's, well, I mean, not so much with The Happening, but there are some parts. But yeah, no, he stayed mostly practical with that. But yeah, I think
he has dipped his toe in CGI before, but this is like green screen special effects, like big budget blockbuster. I mean, this movie cost $150 million to make, and it made its money back. But
yeah, 319 million. So
yeah, I mean, it's not like a, you know, I mean, for $150 million budget, that's not the best return in the world, but for what was made, shocked that it made that much money.
I mean, it doubled its money. I think the studio's looking at even though it bombed critically, I think they're still looking at this as a success.
Yeah, well, obviously not enough of a success though, because like this is one of the rare franchises, and I can only think of one other one that this happened, where the movie came out, people hated it. Like, I think this movie has like a 5% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's like incredible.
You don't that high,
you know, 5% is incredible, and people hated this movie. It's almost impressive, yeah. But people hated this movie so much, even though it made a ton of money. The studio was like, you know what, we got out of there with our asses intact. Maybe we don't do a sequel. It's the only other time I remember that happening is for Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes, which made just an incredible amount of money, but everyone hated it, and they were like, no sequel for this. Studios never do that.
No, it's pretty rare.
If a movie makes $5, you know, back, they will do a sequel.
But not only that, I mean, the closing scene sets up a sequel.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's bad. That's not good.
No, that's not good. And
no.
Well, let's talk about the cast.
Okay. What cast?
Right.
So, all right.
Let's talk about the lead. You like the lead?
No, he's bad. He's really bad.
Yeah,
he's really bad. What's his name? Noah Ringer.
Yeah, I feel bad.
Some kid.
I feel bad dogging on kids, but
no, I mean, yeah, it's not a kind of thing where I'm like, fuck this kid, because like, I don't know, whatever. Like you said, whatever. You know, I'm not going to dog on him, but he's not an actor. He was some kid who like sent an audition tape of him doing like martial arts exercises, and they were like, yeah, this is our guy. And it's like, no, that's it. Like Gina Prince Bythewood, who directed Love and Basketball, has this great quote about her process when she was casting Sanaa Lathan, and they were talking about, you know, she didn't want to cast Sanaa because she wasn't a ball player, and she was like, I need a ball player for this movie. I need someone who can actually dribble and like can actually look like they're playing basketball. And they went through this whole casting process, and basically what ended up happening was Sanaa Lathan learned how to play basketball, and there was a actual basketball player that Gina Prince Bythewood wanted to cast, and at the end of the day, she ended up casting Sanaa Lathan. Because, and this is the quote that Gina Prince Bythewood had, I love it. She said, you can fake a jump shot, but you can't fake a close-up. And like, that just totally applies to this kid here, where I'm just like, yeah, he's doing like cute martial arts exercises, but as soon as you get him in a close-up and he has to sell some emotion, he's disastrous to the movie.
Yeah, I saw like, I don't know, like half a scene where I was like, all right, but it, you know, no, for the most part, it's pretty poor.
So yeah, you got him as the lead. He's not good. Playing Katara is this girl named Nicola Peltz, I think. She's terrible. She's really, really bad.
Oh my God.
She's a disaster.
She actually is directing her first movie coming up.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, I mean,
I saw that she's been working.
Yeah, she was in Bates Motel. She had a decent little role on that.
Okay. I looked her up. Her father is a billionaire. So I'm sure that this was some sort of nepotism thing. Like he definitely got her this job. Like, you know what I mean? Like he probably like threw some money at someone, was like, put my fucking daughter in this movie, you know, like, because she ain't good.
So I know. I'll agree.
Okay.
I'll agree.
Okay, no, this is good. This is good.
Pretty much, we might as well just say most of the cast isn't very good.
They're all bad.
Okay.
I don't think anyone is good in this movie.
I just, I'm kind of a sucker for Nicole Peltz because she's so pretty.
Is she?
Yeah, she's pretty. I like her.
Not my type, I guess. We'll just say that.
I normally don't like blondes, but whatever.
Here's what I'm gonna say about this movie. We've talked about this before. This is maybe the first time that I can remember everyone in this movie can get punched. I want to punch everyone in this movie in the face. They're all bad. Even my beloved Dev Patel.
Dev.
Getting punched. I'm sorry, Dev. You shouldn't have done it. Why'd you do it, Dev? They're all getting punched.
This is this another written M. Night wrote this. He wrote
I believe he wrote, and
because he likes in the beginning of the movie.
Written and directed. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, he likes that triple.
Right.
Although I think this time he probably should have
he probably should have
brought in
someone else. Yeah. Okay, but let's keep burning through the cast here. In the role of Sokka,
this is my most hated.
Oh, Jackson Rathbone? You think Jackson Rath? He's one of the most, because he's in all the Twilight movies. Movies that I don't think are good, but they're kind of funny and like, I liked watching them. Like I had a good time just watching how like campy and goofy they were.
Jackson Rathbone file those under guilty pleasures for you.
I mean, no such
you
thing
don't like
as a guilty
that term.
pleasure,
Yeah,
but
you don't like that term.
But like, I don't know, they're whatever. We don't need to get into Twilight.
Who does he play in Twilight?
Jasper, just one of the Cullens.
Oh, that's the weird one. Is it the strong? Who's the strong one?
No, that's Callan Lutz. He's
Jasper's. Right. He's the weird one. No, I know Jasper. He's the weird
Anyways,
one.
He's
especially
the
in the first one. He just stares a lot because he's
overtaken
by the hunger.
He's absolutely a terrible actor, and he's the worst in those Twilight movies because everyone else is at least doing kind of heightened, goofy shit. And he's so like pretentious and serious in his role. And you're just like, yeah, fuck this guy. Get him out of my face, And he comes into this movie. Now, I'm not going to lay all the blame at his feet because the tone of this movie is so wrong that like I know that it wasn't all him, but he's just playing this so serious.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things wrong with this movie, but the biggest, like for me, right off the bat, it's a bad script.
Well, it's a bad script, and I think that mixed with, I can't imagine who to blame. Is it M. Night? Is it the producers? Is it? I don't know who's to blame.
M. Night.
I mean, it's definitely M. Night, but like
it's M. Night.
There's a lot of money going into this movie, so I'm sure that the producers were a lot more hands-on than he's used to. Like this isn't. You go watch a Marvel movie and it's like, wow, this is really good and like competent and like everything looks great, but I don't know that. Daniel, who fucking directed Shang-Chi? I don't even remember, but I don't know that he had a lot of authorship because like all the Marvel shit is very Kevin Feige, the producer, is very hands-on. He kind of runs the show. You know what I mean? He tells people like, this is what we expect of you. So I'm thinking that there was a similar probably vested interest with the producers of this movie being like, hey, the studio needs you to make like a big franchise starter that's going to be like epic in scope. But what I'm getting at is if you watch one episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's fun and it's playful and it's funny and like none of that is in this movie. There's no humor. There's no joy in this movie. It's so like dour and serious.
The examples of M. Night's attempt at humor would be like the opening scene where she drops water on his head.
Right, but he doesn't play that as funny.
No, he plays it as weird.
He just like stands up and he's like mad that his sister dropped water on his head.
No, like
it's bad.
That's bad. At one point, the like Appa is floating and like kids are trying to grab it, and it's like,
yeah.
Sure. Like I saw he was trying, but for the the tone
it's
is
so off.
It just, that I think that's the biggest problem with this entire movie.
It is
the mixture between the script and the tone leads to this
it's just like the thing, the word that I kind of came up with, the like term that I came up with to describe this movie. It is just a soulless adaptation. It's someone who looked at the product that they were adapting and said, okay, I see the plot elements that happen. And then they just took that information and put it into a movie without taking any of like the life from it. You know, they were like, okay, we got all the story beats here, but they didn't use any of the love or like care or anything that went into the original product. It's just like someone reciting a Wikipedia article for an hour and a half.
And because we're what movie is this we're on of M. Night?
9, I think.
Yeah, he's had success. He's done this. We've witnessed him do this where he wants people to be kind of off kilter, like acting a little strange. And I feel like even in this movie, there's parts where he does that, and it's just.
But the thing is, this isn't a horror movie like all of his other movies.
This is
supposed to be like a fun,
in the slightest,
blockbuster,
right?
I mean, this is the one thing I'm going to say in M. Night's defense. When it comes to this movie and when it comes to our next movie, After Earth, they aren't really M. Night Shyamalan movies. You know, like you don't think of this as like the brand. This isn't. I mean, probably he just shouldn't have done them because like that's not his strong suit. But like when I think of like a movie ending, goes to black, and then I see written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan, I don't think of this or After Earth because they're so not his brand at all. So I almost feel like, why'd you even do it? Like, I'm not even mad at you for like not nailing it because like I knew you weren't going to nail it. It's not the movie you should be making.
I am mad at him because
for sure he sucked. He sucked.
Because he probably thought he was trying to expand his range, and people are like, no, this is your range. You stay here. Because
he's good in his range. Yeah,
I know. I like it. I mean, his newest movie was smack dab in his range.
Yeah, exactly.
Which we'll talk about.
A couple episodes.
No, I do want, because we're not going to be putting a lot of positive on this movie.
I really thought about it because I know that you like to try. I know that like you will like take a bad movie and be like, well, I can find something to like about this, right? Like there's probably something in here.
And I did.
Okay, I'm glad. I'm happy for you. I was really like thinking about that while watching this movie this time. I got nothing, and I'm not even trying to be a dick.
Well, because I know that you're not going to agree with me here because I know you.
I also want to reiterate, it is so hard for me to come to this movie with like any frame of reference that isn't like, how did you fuck this up so bad? Like the perfect TV show is sitting right there for you to just completely mimic, and you fucked it up. So like it's hard for me to like judge this movie on its own, you know?
Yeah, because I mean,
and I'm trying not to be the, the fan. I'm trying not to be the person coming at this from like, how did you ruined my favorite property? Because like at the end of the day, I didn't ruin anything. I can still go watch the greatest TV show ever made. It still exists, but it's weird to me how bad this movie is just in reference to that one. So anyways, what were you going to say? You liked something from the movie.
Well, no, I know what you're saying. Because, when you have like excellent source material and then you drop the ball this bad,
right?
Like, it's almost like a multiplier for like,
that's yes.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like a bonus, but in the opposite
how
direction.
I felt with, because I'm Dragon Ball slappy, and when Evolution came out, I was like,
sure. I mean, that's actually a really good like comparison.
I mean, I get it. Live action anime, like you're already playing with fire a little bit.
Right, yeah.
I'm crossing my fingers for this Cowboy Bebop. Their name
that'll be easier because it's not so high fantasy,
Yeah, flying through the air with key blasts and whatnot.
Right, exactly. But, yeah.
No, I will say I thought the look of it, the costumes, the set pieces.
Okay. There were a couple of good ones. I'm not going to lie.
It looked like the show for the most part.
Yeah. I think it's a little doled out.
We got to finish off the cast real quick.
Oh, right. Sure. Dev Patel's playing.
The great Dev Patel.
He's in a thankless role.
Prince Zuko.
Yep.
Which, every single character from the show is better than the movie counterpart. Obviously.
Absolutely.
Zuko is the big one because he has that redemption arc and whatnot.
Yes, if you talk to anyone who loves this show, they'll be the first one to tell you that like Zuko has the greatest character development arc maybe of any TV show. Like this character's so beloved.
Sorry, Walter White, but no.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, Walter White. Whatever. Zuko's better. So
Zuko's excellent. Oh,
Zuko's the best. You got Sean. I want to say it's Taub or Tube, playing Iroh. He was
miscast. That's not my Uncle Iroh.
No, miscast, although I do think that he's maybe the most believable person in the movie. like in terms of the actual acting. I'm like, okay, he actually seems like he exists in this world. So there's something there. That's the guy who played is it Jensen, whatever, the guy in the cave from Iron Man 1.
Oh, Jensen. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually credited as being the very first hero because of his martyrism that started the MCU.
You're a fucking nerd. Asif Manvi plays Commander Zhao. You know Asif Manvi from the Tonight Show.
No, I don't. I don't know who that is.
He's all right. Cliff Curtis plays Firelord Ozai.
Normally love Cliff Curtis.
I love Cliff Curtis.
I feel he took the day off.
He sure was asleep during this movie.
Where's his pillow at? He was done.
Oh man,
non-existent.
Okay, so that's basically the main cast.
I do like Gabrielle or Seychelle Gabrielle.
Sure, she wasn't terrible.
She wasn't terrible.
I think
she's also very pretty.
She is quite pretty, but like, I think she's giving a pretty good performance in what could be a good version of this movie, which is like make it more of like a YA sort of CW kind of take. I can kind of see her fitting in really well in that kind of way. But yeah, that's most of the cast. Now let's talk about how horribly problematic the casting in this movie is.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah. So all the good people are white and all the bad people are brown. And that's pretty much all there is to it. And I don't know what the fuck happened there. And it's not, I see what he's doing where he's like, okay, the people from the water tribe are all white people. The people from the Earth Kingdom are all, I'm guessing, Chinese, but you know, they probably did the same thing they did with the Fire Nation where they're like, I don't know, get anyone from like East Asia for the Earth Kingdom.
Yeah. You can't get
the thing that sucks about the whole Fire Nation casting where they're all the evil brown people is I'm pretty sure Jesse McCartney was supposed to play Zuko and then he had to go to like do a tour. So then they cast Dev Patel and apparently they ended up casting all of the villains after they cast Dev Patel. And because they cast Dev Patel, they were like, well, they all have to be brown.
So he's basically trying to cast like the regions were different.
Sure.
That was his goal.
I understand. And I don't think that that's a huge problem. The problem is Dev Patel is Indian. Cliff Curtis is Maori. He's from New Zealand. Sean Tube is, I think, Iranian or Persian. And you're just, at that point, you're just going, I don't know, anyone who's like vaguely brown, they can come be the evil people in this movie. They're not even from the same areas of the world. It's just brown people, which sucks.
Not a good look, M. Night. Not a good look.
Nope. No, not a good look at all, which is weird because M. Night's brown. So I mean, I don't know how much, this is the thing. I don't know how much like power he had in the casting of this movie, you know?
I think I'm giving him a lot more credit than you are because
maybe I just think like movies have casting agents.
Yeah. Someone just
producers have say in who gets cast in movies. It's not always the director being like, oh, this is who we need, you know, and especially with those secondary roles. So I don't know,
the producer that takes a step back.
I don't love it.
The whole thing. I mean, like, you know, you got to do something about it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. But
I mean, I understand. Yeah, I understand what he's trying to do with the different. But yeah, it's you gotta.
This movie bums me the fuck out. I'll say that much. Lady in the Water, I had a really fun time tearing that movie to shreds. And even when I was watching it, I had a great time just like cackling at how bad it was. I watched this movie with like a stone face and I was just like, I'm not even going to have fun making fun of this movie.
So you normally don't like CGI. There's a lot of CGI in this movie. All the different elemental effects. You didn't like that?
No. I actually think like
that's the positive. That the only positive I got is the looks, the actual costumes.
I think the cinematography is pretty bad. I think it the way that they shoot the shit is not good at all. There's a lot of really weird close-ups and like the way that they frame two people in a two shot where I'm like, why is half of Jackson Rathbone's head being cut off in this shot while he's like trying to talk to his sister? It's really weird. But I will say the North Pole set, I think, is very good. The entire set, because that actually does look like the show. Like they kind of nailed the entire like Northern Water Tribe set. Yeah. And I think for the most part, I like the CGI. Well, I don't like it, but I don't think any of the CGI is like noticeably bad. You know, like there's a shot in the new trailer for Dune where Timothée Chalamet is wearing like a cool exoskeleton fighting suit. And then like his face mask like shifts up so you can actually see his face. And his face is so poorly composited that you can tell it's like they just green screened his face into like a weird CGI helmet, and it looks really bad. And there's no moment in this movie where I'm like, oh, that looks like shit. Like the CGI actually does look pretty good, I guess. Yeah.
Sounds like you're getting ready to tear apart Dune.
No, actually, I'm excited for Dune. No, I actually think Dune, like for the most part, looks pretty incredible. There's just that one shot in the trailer where I'm like, Jesus Christ, that looks pretty bad. but yeah, I think the CGI is not terrible in this movie. I think it looks. My favorite effect, I think, in the whole movie is the very first shot of CGI we get of the water coming out of where they're fishing.
The Nickelodeon logo.
Yeah, kind of. But then they do it again later when they like kill off Zhao. But like the way that they do like water coming out, where it doesn't come out in like a clean bubble, it like comes out in an orb that's like constantly leaking and falling. I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there we go. I said something positive about The Last Airbender.
Yeah. No, I did. I thought the CGI was pretty cool. As far as like live action, like elemental bending, like that's pretty cool. Like I thought that was awesome.
Okay. Now let's talk about the other part of the bending. The dancing that they have to do to bend.
Oh, right.
Really hate it. Right. I really hate it because in the show it's martial arts. They do martial arts, and then the bending is like an extension of them doing martial arts. In this movie, they do like a whole Tai Chi sequence where they're like doing steps and dance moves, and then like a magical effect will happen in front of them. And there's a really long one.
Are you talking about the Earth Kingdom?
The Earth Kingdom one's pretty bad because there's like 4 dudes doing it in unison, and then like one rock flies, and I'm like, why did it take all you guys to do that?
Not even from them, not even from the
yeah. What were they doing?
Guy off to the side. They were just dancing. They were just having a good time. Yeah, they were just getting hyped. They were having a good time.
Oh, that's scene is so terrible.
When it went, that's actually that's when I'm watching the movie. I'm like, oh, so this movie's bad.
Had you seen this movie before?
It was my second time.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's my third time seeing it.
Okay.
I refuse to ever watch this again. Yeah.
But that's when I was like, oh, this movie is bad.
It's bad. It's very bad.
Yeah. That's when I was like, oh, now I get it. When just it's most of the time things felt nonsensical, like that dancing print, like that whole like, why are those 4 people doing that when this guy over here he's
the one throwing the one rock?
Right. It's just things didn't,
there's also a moment, and I'll be honest, this movie sort of evaporates out of my brain as soon as it's over. So I took notes because I knew I wasn't going to remember certain things because I was like, this thing's so forgettable. But there is a moment near the end, and I don't remember the exact moment, where Aang has to do some sort of bending trick, or he's like fighting someone, and he does this incredibly long sequence of steps and moves and wrist flourishes. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, in all that time, someone could have easily walked up and punched him square in the fucking face. Like you wanted that to be you. You wanted to walk. Yeah, I should have been the one doing it. But that's what I'm saying. Like it in the show, it's so kinetic and like just fast. Boom, 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 boom. The bending is like it's all going, and they all have these really well-defined different like techniques of fighting. When a waterbender in the show bends, they have this flowing, almost Tai Chi look to them. Whereas like the firebenders have almost like a boxing sort of like quick jabs and stuff. In this, everything's the same. No one really looks like all the shit's just bland, and it just looks like people doing yoga.
I think he tried to like get that in there with, there's that one scene where Katara is like fixing Aang's wrist.
Oh God, we didn't even talk about the pronunciations.
Aang.
Okay. For some reason, folks, if you've never seen this movie, for some reason, the word avatar in this movie is pronounced avatar, like the long A for avatar. For some reason, the main character's name, who in the show is Aang, they just decided to go with Aang. I don't know what that was all about. Sokka, his name is Sokka.
Why did he do this?
I don't know. Iroh, they changed to Iroh. They changed all these names. I'm assuming M. Night was thinking like, oh, I should make it so like that how they would actually be pronounced. But here's the thing. The show is a fantasy show, not set in the real world. All the names are made up, and the people who created the show named them those names. Like, it's not like they mispronounced anything in the show. It's all made up. It's not set in China. It's in a fucking different world, so they can say whatever they want. Yeah, so why change all these words?
That's all on M. Night.
Oh yeah, it makes no sense.
He's like, no, I agree with everything you just said. I tried to make it realistic, and it's just
but why? Also, why is the name Avatar? That's just a word. Why'd you change the pronunciation of the word Avatar to Avatar?
The one that now that you're saying it, they're all coming back, but the big one was the Ong and Aang, and I was
Ong is terrible. Yeah, Ong. Fucking name's Aang.
Yeah, I gotta listen to Ong the whole time.
It's like if they made a SpongeBob movie and they were like, yes, Bonge Bobe. And like you're like, what? We all know him as SpongeBob. He's the iconic character SpongeBob.
Oh god, but the Latin pronunciation.
Yeah. All right. So let's really quickly talk about the plot of this movie.
I mean, they took it. He adapted the first book,
the first season. He adapted the entire first season of Avatar into one movie. Mistake number one.
Yeah, right off the bat.
I just don't think you should do this.
No,
change the story. Just do your own thing set in this world. Why are you trying to adapt a 26 episode show into one
be successful
movie?
With it? Yeah,
it's insane. Anyways, the pace of this movie is bizarre because he tries to get through everything that's in one show.
I hate cramming whenever
they cram.
Like when I think of cramming when it shouldn't be done is when they will take, like, The Hobbit is a small book. It, to me, at the most 2 movies, not 3. That was a stretch. I know that's your baby, so I'm not gonna.
You don't have to get into it, but I understand. Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
Right. But no, you do get a sense of like why it doesn't have to. You don't have to do the entire first season. Like,
no,
you don't need the moon spirit. Like, I don't know. It's just there's a lot of things that felt like.
So let's talk about the things that, because obviously he skips a lot of episodes, a lot of like not filler episodes, but a lot of, because the whole show is very like, it's a road show. It's people traveling from one location to the other, doing tasks on the way. So he skips a lot of episodes that are more just like fun.
Mm-hmm. The characters that would, or the episodes that would give characters the life and the
exactly
the good parts of the characters.
Because this movie's so freaking like rushed within like the movie opens with Sokka and Katara fishing, and they find Aang, and like jump cut to Aang in their village. The Fire Nation shows up. They all like run away, and they're all on the run together. And like I want to say it's probably the 15-minute mark is when Aang shows up at like the air temple, and he finds out that all of his people have died, and he's the last Airbender, and he's been asleep for 100 years.
God, that's 15 minutes in.
It feels very early in the movie. I don't know.
Okay.
I do know that once they get to the Northern Water Tribe, there's a whole 40 minutes left. So it's very imbalanced the way that he adapted the season, because you get like, anyways, really early on in the movie.
He wanted the big action set piece at the end.
Yes. I'm guessing. Yes. But really early on in the movie is this pivotal scene from the show where Aang actually discovers all of his people are dead. He's the last one, and he's been asleep for 100 years. And in the show, it's remarkably emotional because you've spent a couple of episodes with these characters, and you're starting to get invested in all of their chemistry. And like, Katara and Sokka are from this like small tribe. Their parents are gone, so they also feel this sense of loss in their family. And like, he starts grieving, and he goes in the Avatar state, and it's really scary in the show too, because he's so powerful. And she like reaches up and calms him down. Now in the movie, this happens like so quickly, but you barely even know the characters' names at this point in the movie. And this, intense, impactful scene is supposed to, be occurring in front of you. And you're like, wait, why do they even care about him? Like, why are they following him? Because like you don't get any of this information. There's no sense of camaraderie at all, which is a huge problem throughout the whole movie. But that's like that's the first moment I noticed it.
Well, no, yeah, I mean, you hit it right on the head, because it does feel forced. Like, that's what you get when you don't have enough time to develop these characters and to make the viewer care about them. Then it does feel forced, and it's like it's awful. We do have to, this is I think our first kids movie on the podcast for the most part.
Oh, I guess. Well, we did Wide Awake. That's a kids movie.
No, that's a Christian mom movie.
You're right.
We spent a long time trying to figure out who that movie was for.
Well, I guess, is Boogie Nights a kids movie? No, I don't think PTA made a kids movie. Yeah.
No, I don't think Paul Thomas Anderson. There's a little too much drugs in that.
Yeah.
So I have to get just a little bit of slack because it's a kids movie, just the tiniest bit.
I understand, but here's the thing. you're adapting something that is a successful kids television show that panders to adults as well. You should be able to make that transition. You should be able to do it.
Sure. No, we
but I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't give slack to kids movies because I love kids movies.
Well, do kids like this movie?
No one likes this. No one knows that this
Right.
movie, you know what I mean?
Right.
I can't imagine a kid sitting down and watching this. It's so bland. Like even
Yeah,
the lovable
no.
characters like Appa and Momo. Like Appa shows up and I'm like, why does he have a human face? This is horrifying.
Yeah, no, that was
Momo, who's like the comedic, not even the comedic
flying
relief.
lemur.
Yes, Momo, the little flying lemur who has his own theme song in the show. In this movie, it's just like he shows up once. I don't know. He's cute, I guess, but then you don't really get any comedy out of him.
No, he was with Sokka most of the time.
Yes, Sokka, the character Sokka.
I looked away anytime Sokka came on the screen.
He's terrible.
Super bad.
Yeah. So then they like just really suddenly.
One of my notes. Not funny.
Not funny at all. No comedy. I just want to stress to anyone who hasn't seen the show. Aang is a carefree, loving, goofy kid coming from like a monk community. He's a pacifist. He loves people and he's really funny and like silly and likes to like fly around on his little
great
airball.
character. Yeah.
Great character. And Sokka is like the comedic relief, like grumpy but lovable, and like he's also like constantly telling really bad jokes. Like he's that kind of character. In this movie, they're both incredibly serious, like bland.
In the show, Sokka's the funniest.
He's so funny. Yes, he's great.
And here I hate, like, it's crazy for like one of my favorite characters on the show to be my most hated in the movie.
Yeah, there's not, I love everything about the show, but it's hard to think like, yeah, Sokka's so loving and so funny. And in the movie, you're just like, oh my God, he's so bland. It's the word I keep coming back to. It's such a bland movie.
No, yeah, I mean, it's right off his very first exchange when he doesn't get mad or when he doesn't like, you know, it's just, I'm like,
he should have a big reaction to having water dumped all over his head.
Yeah, it looked like he got in her face and looked like he was gonna punch her.
He grabbed her by the wrists and shit. I'm like, what's going on here?
Yeah, this is weird, man.
I don't like this.
It sucked because I was like, I don't know, because we did just see that cool water effect, and then it's like, oh, right off the bat.
Yeah, so then they just randomly agree to go to the North Pole, and on their way to the North Pole, like liberate a bunch of small villages that have been taken over by the Fire Nation. And you get like some montage shit that's not interesting. Got anything to say about the montage? No, nothing. There's nothing there.
Was it the training montage when at some point they decide like he needs to learn waterbending first because that's the one that comes after air.
Yeah. And
then so they got to go to the water temple and find him a teacher.
Yep.
There was, but the third act is ridiculous. It's at breakneck speed and whatever. But that one part when he like puts the dude in ice, he like jumps over him and puts him in ice after he learns.
There's one good shot in the final act, and I will get to it. There's one good shot in the final act that I liked. I just flat out was like, that is good.
Was it that one?
When Aang puts someone in ice?
Yeah, he's like he's going through. I think first off, there's an egregious use of slow motion here.
Yeah. I don't know. I get it. I don't know. I think you hate slow motion a lot more than I do. But
I like it when it's appropriate. When you're just showing
I like The Matrix more than pretty much any other movie in the world. So like, I don't know. I can't really complain about slow-mo too much because that movie is like, there's a lot of slow-mo in that movie and I love all of it.
No, it works in The Matrix.
It's great.
Here
no, you're right. It is kind of bland. But I'll talk about the scene. There's one scene at the end where Aang is like fighting his way up to get to the wall so he can go to the Avatar state. And there's like a tracking shot where the camera just sort of, you can tell it's on rails and it just sort of moves from left to right across the screen as Aang like goes and takes out like 4 Fire Nation dudes across the screen, and it'll slow-mo and zoom in on him every time he goes into action, and then it'll ramp back up into normal speed and zoom back out. So it's like going queer, and then it'll zoom in and he'll do some cool like jump flip move, and then it'll be slow-mo, and then it'll come back out, and he does like 4 dudes, and the last dude he like jumps over him and like pulls water up and freezes him.
Yeah,
like, okay, that looked pretty good.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
That's the scene. Okay, yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, just because he finishes the last guy off with that, like the freezing. I don't know, freeze him. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And you keep saying Aang, it's on.
I'm sorry, it's Ong. Oh God. Yeah, I don't know. Then they get to the North Pole, and like, there's 40 minutes left, and it's all so boring.
It's a chaotic mess.
It's so boring. Yeah, no, it's like a lot of shit's happening, but I'm like, this is bad and I don't really care. Like, and I get bored because of it. You know what I mean?
We totally skipped the Zuko
The blue spirit thing.
Yeah, the prison break.
Yeah, so there's like an episode from the show where Aang gets caught and then Zuko sneaks into the prison as this like masked bandit and frees him so that he can take him prisoner, whatever. And they do that in the show, and like there's a fight scene and it's meh.
You did you like when Aang was using the
You're killing me.
the wind or training things with the
no, because it looks bad.
Yeah,
it looks bad. He's just doing like dancey moves and then like panels are moving and you're just like, okay, whatever, you know. And also I want to say a couple of things like that this movie changes from the show, which it's not even that I dislike the change. I mean, I do dislike it, but the reason I'm bringing up is because I just flat out don't understand why they made certain changes. Okay, so here are the couple things. In the TV show, Aang is discovered while Katara and Sokka are out fishing, and Katara starts to get angry because Sokka says something sexist, and she starts throwing her fists up and down, and she water bends this huge iceberg, and it cracks the iceberg, and that's what causes Aang to rise out of the ocean. It's kind of a cool moment where, like, you know, that's how they're connected. Is she literally like water bends him to freedom without knowing it. In the movie, none of that happens, and Aang just sort of appears. Like Aang's bubble just comes up out of the ocean apropos of nothing. It's just like a weird change because it makes you go, wait, why did he show up? It made me like in my head go, how did they do it in the show? Oh, right, Katara is the reason that Aang shows up, and it's weird to like cut that connection.
I do remember like thinking like, oh, that's pretty, you know.
Yeah,
I know they nailed in the show, and then here is just like
it's weird, right?
Yeah, well, I got nonsensical. Nothing. Yes. It's just nothing,
and it's a weird thing that like, why change that? You know, I didn't understand the change there.
I just keep saying it's a kid's movie. He's doing this for kid. Like I want to watch it with a kid to see if they. Maybe no, I don't want to. Let me change that sentence. I don't watch it ever again. But I want.
you want to be in the house while a kid watches it, and you check in on them every now and then.
Would just let me know what you think at the end. Yeah, don't even update me. You know.
So that was a weird change. Another major change that they make that I don't really understand is in the show, firebenders can create fire and bend it. And for whatever reason, in the movie, he makes this really specific rule that firebenders have to have fire first, and then they can bend the fire that already exists. Now, I'm assuming he did this because like waterbenders and earthbenders can't create water and earth, so he's trying to like nerf the firebenders, and then there's supposed to be the big exciting shot of Iroh creating fire, and you're like, oh, he broke the rules. But it's like a weird thing to do because Iroh doesn't end up doing anything after he creates the fire at the end.
No, he doesn't do anything.
It's so dumb. So it's another thing where I'm like, why even implement that?
No, I mean, you hit it. He was trying to nerf
was he just trying to nerf him?
He's trying to make it realistic. Fire doesn't come out of nowhere. You know, like
yes, very realistic movie. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He missed the mark. Like it's
just
tone.
The word I keep coming back to is soulless, because the next thing I'm going to talk about is a purely magical moment in the show that's like quite lovely, and it's when Yue turns into the moon in the show.
Yeah.
So in the show, there's this girl, Princess Yue. You find out when she was born, she wasn't breathing, and her parents like laid her in this bath water where like the moon spirit was, and the moon spirit brought her to life, and that's why her hair is white, and because she has part of the moon spirit in her. And in the movie, the moon spirit gets killed by General Zhao. I'm being such a nerd right now. The moon spirit gets killed by General Zhao, and she sacrifices her life to give the moon spirit the rest of her life force so that it can go on living. In the show, Sokka and her are holding each other. Sokka, Jesus Christ, I said Sokka. Sokka and her are holding each other.
It's accurate.
Yes, sorry. They're holding each other. As she's dying, they kiss, and her body dissolves. It turns into literally the moon spirit, and she floats up into space. And he's like left like holding nothing, and like she just floats away. It's beautiful. And for whatever reason, they don't do that in the movie. They just like they kiss, she like lays down and dies, and then like the moon turns back on.
Yeah,
and like this is I'm getting to a nitpicky stage, but I'm not actually trying to say that it's worse in the movie. It is worse, but I'm not saying that like the change is bad. I'm just really confused why the change happened.
Did it
right. You know, the other thing is like in the show when Zhao puts the moon spirit in the bag, that turns the moon red, and then when he kills the moon spirit, the moon goes black and disappears. But in the movie, He picks it up, nothing happens, and then when he kills it, it turns red. It's like a weird stagger thing where he's like, you took one step away for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, because
Very
the
specific
moon,
shit that I'm remembering.
the moon can't turn black. He's trying to make it realistic.
Fuck off. God, I hate you. But yeah, I don't know. Like, okay, and then the last thing I want to talk about, and like
that's like pretty much the climax right there. Where,
I'm done with talking about the plot of the movie. Just so you know, I'm all done. So like this is the last thing I actually want to talk about in terms of this movie, like period. The season finale of season 1 of Avatar: The Last Airbender. It might be my favorite episode of television, like period. I love it so much. And in the season finale, it's basically the same premise. The Fire Nation has come and they're invading the North Pole, and Aang has to turn into the Avatar state in order to save everyone. Now in the show, Aang turns into the Avatar state and then literally absorbs a bunch of water and turns into a gigantic fish spirit, and he just lays waste to the fucking Fire Navy. He's like pushing boats back, he's throwing water against the walls and like hitting dudes with water. He's going ape shit as like this massive fish. It's incredible. He's like a koi spirit. It's amazing. In the movie, Aang goes up to a wall and lifts his hands up, and then a big wave appears, and then he gently sets it down, and everyone leaves. And it's the most anticlimactic thing you could possibly imagine.
Do they bow to him after that too?
The North Pole people do.
I think, weren't there fire bowing in there too?
I don't know. You think I barely remember? No, I don't know. Maybe, sure. Yeah, there were.
Because that was the whole M. Night's whole big thing.
Are you talking about in the show?
No, the movie, movie, because he's supposed to, a ceremony. But the reason why he ran away was because
he was
everyone
bow back.
Yeah, and that's literally the end of the movie is people bow to him because they see his power, and he bows back as like a way to accept who he is or whatever. Right. Sure. Yeah, that's bad.
It's so I understand that making him a giant CGI like water god would cost like probably another like $20 million. I get that. Mm-hmm. But their workaround is so boring because it's not even like he like drops the wave and makes the wave like go out and hit them. He literally like lifts it up and then sets it gently back down, and they all just leave of their own volition.
Yeah, it's kind of more of like a demonstration of the power to like,
but like
you fuck with me, I'm gonna kill everyone with the giant wave.
And I don't get it at all. I don't get it.
I mean, that my last note is bad ending, terrible ending,
because doesn't make me excited for the next movie at all.
Well, no, I'm not even talking about that scene, the Cliff Curtis scene when they introduce.
I agree with you. Like just as a climax for a film.
Yeah, that's the climax. Like he does the wave, he scares them off, everyone bows. Well, it is fire and water, and it's like, and then credits roll, or like that's it. Not credits roll, but it felt like it because that Cliff Curtis scene was just boring. Not being in the slightest. Yeah, whenever I know you hate when movies. Well, it's when Marvel is like, oh, they're just setting you up for the next one and the next one and the next one.
Yeah,
that's kind of what that felt there, because
it did.
It just didn't need to happen. You want it, I'd rather have that at the end of the credits when I don't have to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe that's the time to do it. Get it out of there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I really, really don't like this movie. And I don't really.
Well, then this is going to be tough because I'm going to ask you who your favorite character is.
Fuck. I don't even have a funny thing to say. I was really reaching for something funny to say. Like when you said your favorite character was the Wind in The Happening. I thought that was great. But yeah, I don't know.
The Wind. It was like the Wind made the menacing phone call.
It was so funny. Yes. It was a great bit by the Wind.
So good. Oh god.
It was great. Yeah, I don't know. Probably Iroh, right? Like the guy. I just think that the guy who plays Iroh is the only one who seems like he's actually in the movie. I even think Dev Patel's bad, and I love Dev Patel. I
know. I put Prince Zuko. Uncle Iroh in the show is
greatest character of all time.
Come on. I want him to be my uncle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know who that guy was.
Yeah, he's just like a nice man. He's not. But that's the thing. We love Iroh because of like the entire journey that Zuko goes on and like the end of the show and how great it is. But like, yeah, in an hour and 45-minute movie, you can't get any of those layers in there. And he flubs it so bad that you don't even want to see anymore. So it's like,
I didn't care for, Uncle Iroh's supposed to really be caring, like you said, he like mentors
also another
him
very
and, like,
comedic
guides
character.
him. Yeah, hilarious, especially
Hilarious
with
character.
his tea. Isn't it? What's Uncle Iroh's in his tea? Was he drinking?
Yeah, he loves tea. He's always drinking
Yeah, I
tea.
love it. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
Super powerful in the show too, where
that's the thing is, like, another great scene at the fucking season finale of season 1 is when Zhao kills the moon spirit, and Iroh gives him that warning where he's like, whatever you do to that spirit, I'm gonna unleash on you tenfold. And he kills the moon spirit, and Iroh goes fucking ape shit on him and just destroys him. And in here, he just like shows everyone that he can create fire, and then he puts the fire away, and then like, yeah, that's the last you see of Iroh. Really, he doesn't do anything cool.
He didn't fire it at all. I remember
no, because I was like, oh, this is a really good scene, because I was like, oh hell yeah, like he's like shooting fire out of his hands. He's got that really cool close up of the hand with the fire coming off of it. And you're like, hell yeah. And I was like, sort of like, oh, maybe this will be good. And then he puts his hands down, and like everyone leaves. And you're like, what's happening?
It's another demonstration of the power. It's like, oh, better not mess with that guy.
Yeah, would like to see him do something though.
Right. We get teased the cool parts and whatnot.
So I don't know. Do you have anything else to say about The Last Airbender? I've got nothing, my man. I'm done. I hate this movie.
I think this is the most bad notes that I've taken. Like,
I hate this movie.
Bad script plus bad acting, nonsensical plot, nailed the look. Oh, that's positive. Third act is chaotic mess, adapted from a cartoon, and you can tell.
What does that mean?
Just because he tried, like the thing with the kid, like kids hanging off Appa, whatnot, like, or like little things. I feel like he tried to do, but it just didn't work. Like,
here's the thing I think that the movie like fully misses out on, and I think it's that what you just said, the scene where all the kids are hanging off of Appa.
Mm-hmm.
I know that in the movie, Aang is gone at that point. He's already been kidnapped by Zuko or whatever. And there's like a scene where they're like, how are we going to catch up to him? Then you see Appa hanging with all the kids hanging off his toes. What you needed in the movie was a scene of Aang hanging off the toes as well. You know what I mean? You needed a scene where Aang was having fun, because he never has any fun in this movie. In the movie, he's just like air scootering around.
Fun.
No, I know, but like Aang is like the one who's always goofing off, and he doesn't do anything. It's like what you need is more moments of childlike, whimsy. There's nothing. It's a kids movie.
Everyone feels very burdened to be there.
Yes, that's a really good point. Yeah. Bummer. Yeah, I'm just done with this thing.
Oh yeah, not funny. Sokka is horrendous. Terrible ending. Really bad lead. Yeah, I wrote bad lead for Ringer. Noah Ringer.
He's very bad.
Yeah, but I wrote Sokka is horrendous. I hate it. It was just
Jackson Rathbone is a terrible actor. I'm just going to go on record and just say he's very bad at this. He's
got a lot of projects coming up. We're probably going to cover him some more.
I hope.
No, just kidding.
He's the new lead in the fucking PTA movie. All right.
Oh fuck no! Wow.
Oh no,
he'd probably be great in it.
No, shut up. He's a terrible actor. Yeah, I'm ready to rate it.
You're ready to rate it?
Yeah, do you want to rate it, or you have anything else you want to talk about?
No, I'm ready to rate it.
Well, what's your rating?
I gave it a 1 star.
Half star. It's one of my least favorite movies I think I've ever seen.
It was a half, but with the costumes and the CGI, it boosted it up to 1.
No boosting for me. No boosts.
and the fact that it's just, that's it. I'm not going to give it anything else. It's just
it's bad. It's one of the worst movies.
It's bad. Yeah, it's really bad. I'm not dropping it down as Praying with Anger bad, because at least I could look at things.
It's worse. Here's the thing. I think the thing that sucks about Praying with Anger, and it kind of bums me out, is there's no good quality version of the movie. Like, you can only see it on YouTube in like really, really poor quality. I kind of wish that there was like someone could like restore it to like HD, just so I could at least see if like it looks okay. You know what I mean? Like, there's that, because like this movie I saw in theaters in the highest quality possible, and I was just like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you could make a case that, with all that money, the source material and everything behind it, it hurt. It should be way,
it's a much bigger disappointment. Yeah,
right. But I mean, I want to play too, or whatever.
I would much rather watch Praying with Anger than rewatch this movie. I would much rather.
Oh God, no. Oh God, no. No, at least I can watch Aang freeze a guy or something, or Zuko throwing a fireball.
Here's the thing. I can do that. in a much superior version, which is the
Sure,
TV show.
sure.
You know what I mean? Like,
No, I
it's
agree.
right
Actually,
there.
the way
I'm probably
and
gonna go
I
watch
kinda-
it after. I kind of want to watch it.
I kind of figured, this would be your episode because this is your bread and butter.
I just
that you
yeah,
love.
but I didn't want to make this a whole me talking about the
I
show
bet that's
episode.
fine because what you did is made me want to go watch the show also.
It's a beautiful show. It's a beautiful show.
Yeah.
Everything makes sense and it's wonderful and the art direction's great and I love it so much.
It's just fun. It's just fun.
Yeah.
And I liked Legend of Korra too. Like
I liked a lot of The Legend of Korra. I don't think it really stacks up to the original show, but I do think season 3 of Legend of Korra is one of like the pound for pound best seasons of like animated shows out there. I love season 3 of Korra. So good. That's the one with Zahir, who's like a fucking terrorist.
And he's in
rules.
such control of airbending that he can fly.
Yeah, he rules.
Yeah, no,
He's
I
like
like
a
that.
Buddhist terrorist voiced by Henry Rollins. Like, give me all you got.
That's sweet. No, I was kind of partial to season 1 with the blood bending introduced. And
I really like season 1. Yeah, I think season 2
it's
meh. I think season 4, no, thank you. Get that out of my face. I don't want Gundams in my Avatar show. Don't want any of that.
Oh, right.
Boring villain.
Was that the Earthbender that was?
No, it was just like the war general. Yeah, the Earthbending general. That was like, and she was like, I'm power hungry, and I'm the villain for this season. I'm like, no. Anyways, let's not make this a Korra fan cast.
I know. Okay. Well, if we're gonna talk about, I want to still talk about the first season because you got Mark Hamill as Lord Ozai.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, how sweet is that? Like that whole finale. I actually just threw on that little battle like a couple weeks ago, just because it looks sweet.
Where Aang turns into a planet. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Rules. Oh, love it.
Well, all right. So I think we can file away The Last Airbender, thankfully.
Forever.
Do you want to do movies of the future, or are we playing a game this week? Or
I've got a game for you, and I think you might do pretty good. So let's play the game.
Can't imagine being very good with this cast. Who are we doing?
Well, I was gonna do Dev Patel.
Okay.
And if you want to, we can do Dev Patel. But I think Cliff Curtis's is more fun, and you definitely know all these movies.
I love Cliff Curtis.
Yeah,
I was very excited when he was cast as the co-lead for Fear the Walking Dead. I know that's not your.
He's a great guy. Great guy. Love him. So let's do the top 5 Cliff Curtis movies.
All right.
This is another one where it's like, don't think about Cliff Curtis because he's mainly a supporting actor and all. You know, in pretty much every movie he's ever been in. So it's like none of these are Cliff Curtis movies, but.
You've seen Collateral Damage?
No, I've never seen Collateral Damage.
I think he's the villain in that. That's an Arnold classic. Just kidding. It's whatever. But
okay. The highest grossing Cliff Curtis film of all time. It is a spin-off movie of a massive franchise. Movie. This is a very recent movie.
So I'm gonna. Oh, what's Hobbs and Shaw?
Hobbs and Shaw.
Nice.
Right away. Yeah.
Excellent.
Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Haven't seen it.
I've seen the first 2 Fast movies, so that's it.
So the first one, second one, skip Tokyo Drift. I'm not sure what I liked Fast 5. That's what I was getting at. That was the last one I think I saw. Gotcha.
Number 2 is another pretty recent movie, kind of a monster movie.
Is he in Godzilla King of the Monsters?
No. This isn't as cool as that. This is more trashy, kind of a throwback kind of monster movie, like in the vein of like Piranha or Jaws. That might have been too big of a giveaway.
Oh, like is it The Meg?
It's The Meg.
Okay.
The shark movie about the megalodon.
You definitely put me on the water tracks.
Yeah.
I did see that one.
Okay. This one, I don't know which number it is.
Rainn Wilson has a cool death. Did you see The Meg?
I did see The Meg. I don't remember anything about The Meg.
I just remember Rainn Wilson had a pretty cool death.
Actually, I do remember. I think there's a scene where Jason Statham stabs a megalodon in the eye. Pretty sure that happens in the movie. Okay, so the number 3 Cliff Curtis movie. Another franchise I know you love. I think you said you really liked this movie. And I don't remember which entry it is. It's like the 4th or 5th movie in this franchise. It's an action franchise, kind of a macho action franchise.
Like the Expendables type?
No, it's better than that. But I think you really like this. I think you like this entry a lot. I think this is the one. Yeah, this has got to be the one.
Is a Macho Dude franchise. So
stars a really big actor that M. Night has worked with a couple times, actually quite a few times.
Oh, okay. Live Free, Die Hard.
Live Free or Die Hard.
Nice.
All right. Number 4 is The Last Airbender, so I won't make you guess that one. Number 5. This is the one I was excited to give hints for because, like, I've definitely seen this movie, and this movie made a ton of money. And I just, like, when I saw the name of it, I was like, I can't even believe that movie exists. Like, it's one of those movies where you're like, oh, right, that was like a huge movie. What the fuck? Like, no one has ever talked about this movie past, a year since it was released. Okay. How to explain this movie? It is a ancient, like, adventure epic.
10,000 BC.
You nailed it. You nailed it right away.
Yeah.
You remember 10,000 BC?
I saw it in theaters.
Was it the caveman action movie?
I was actually pretty excited for it.
I was too. It was really bad though, right?
It was not good.
No, right. I remember that being one of those just like, yikes.
I remember leaving. Yeah, I was like, oh man. I remember leaving the theater and being like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah. yeah, exactly. Okay, well, let's talk about some upcoming movies that we're excited about.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I was waffling between talking about the new Licorice Pizza trailer.
It did just come out.
But we're going to cover that movie.
We are going to cover it
when it comes out. We're going to do we're just going to make that the episode for the week is the Licorice Pizza episode. So instead of talking about that, because we're going to be talking about it pretty soon, talking about a movie called Bergman Island. Directed by Mia Hansen-Løve, who's an up-and-coming French director. She's made quite a few movies already, but this seems to be like her first foray into maybe the American audiences. The Bergman Island seems to be a kind of fun drama about a woman played by Vicky Creeps.
Oh, okay.
Our girl.
Now I'm there. You got me.
Well, and then who's she married to? Tim Roth.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So it's Vicky Creeps and Tim Roth, and what they do is they go to this island that was where Ingmar Bergman like wrote some of his great movies because she's a writer and she wants to go and like clear her head. And the movie is like a parallel story of her struggling as a writer and like dealing with her marriage to Tim Roth. And then the movie will cut to the actual story she's writing, and the character that she's writing is being portrayed by one of my all-time favorite, like, when is she gonna pop? But Mia Wasikowska.
Oh yeah, she's got a lot of pretty good roles.
She's one of my favorite. Like, where I've always been sitting there, been like, when's she gonna pop? When's she gonna pop? And she hasn't really ever popped, but she's been in so many great movies, and she's usually great. But yeah, it looks like kind of a sweet romance movie where you get like the story of the writer, and then you actually get the story that she's writing. So it looks sweet.
Sounds good. Yeah, I do.
Comes out in a couple weeks.
She's extremely talented. So
yeah.
What was the one? I think it's Stoker. Was she in Stoker?
I love Stoker.
Yeah,
we'll cover Stoker one day.
Yeah, that's one where I was like, oh wow, she's really good.
Oh yeah.
But what's his face is really good in that too.
Matthew Good.
Yeah, Matthew Good.
Oh, Matthew Good and Stoker is one of my. I'm sure that was one where I'm like, I'm giving him the Jimmy Award for Best Supporting Actor. He's so good in that movie. Ugh.
All right, well, we might end up covering this guy. This is his 7th movie.
Okay.
They're all very good. What's that?
No, go ahead.
Well, some of them are pretty good. Some of them are really good. But it's Jason Reitman's new film.
I knew you were gonna say it. I knew. Once you said we're gonna cover it and he has 7-ish movies, I was like, he's gonna fucking talk about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, we have to, because he has a decent filmography. Look at his. No,
I do like Juno a lot. I do like
Up in the Air.
He's a good. Yeah.
He's got some even Tully, like young adult. Like there's some.
I didn't see Tully. Did you like Tully?
I heard
he's pretty good. Yeah,
he's young adult. Solid. Yeah, he's solid.
Yeah, the last thing I want to see him do is this, though.
Well, it's written by Dan Aykroyd, so I got a little hope because he was the original writer for the first Ghostbuster before he got the script rewritten. It's actually based on Dan Aykroyd's family business.
We got to hold on. Stop. We got to stop.
All right.
We got to get into some things really quick because we're okay. We're going to talk Ghostbusters for a second.
Yep.
I've never seen Ghostbusters.
What?
I've never seen Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2 or the other Ghostbusters. Never seen a Ghostbuster.
Well, I mean, you can skip. I didn't see the.
I heard the new one was good, but everyone was very very sexist and was like, no. So whatever. But yeah, I've never seen the Ghostbusters movie, but I've seen, Ivan Reitman movies, and I've seen all the Bill Murray movies of the 80s. And, I know the tone, you know what I mean? I've seen Groundhog. I know the tone. I get it. It's fun. There's synth music. It's the 80s, baby. The fun action adventure of the 80s, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. And I'm actually looking forward to I just actually
the song. There's a lot of
exactly
iconic stuff about Ghostbusters.
Yeah, a lot of iconography. And I'm my girlfriend was like, "You've never fucking seen Ghostbusters?" So we're planning on watching those soon because it is a weird blind spot that I've never seen Ghostbusters. But what the fuck is this new trailer? Why does it look like Stranger Things? Why does it look like the nostalgic era of the adventuring group of Ghostbusters? Isn't it like a bunch of fucking douchey 40-year-old slobs going around New York getting blowjobs from ghosts? Why is this movie treating it like it's the most important thing in the world?
It is.
The trailer looks so bad. I'm sorry. We saw it today when we went and saw Venom, and I'm like, who is this for?
I'm starting to get a vibe. You're not a fan of Finn Wolfhard?
Oh, I hate Finn Wolfhard. Yeah. Too much of him. Too much of him all at once. I need less of him.
Well, you better get ready because it's going to be nonstop because he's going to be around for a while.
I'm gonna call my shot and say, don't think that's true. I think as soon as he's done with puberty, people are going to put him in the garbage. He's not a good actor. He just has a weird look and people like it.
Wow.
So, yeah, just gonna call that shot right now.
I don't think it's too bad.
I'm very confused by the new Ghostbusters trailer.
Well, you're obviously not a TV guy. We talked about this. Sure. But you do. There is major Stranger Things vibes.
Yeah, it looks like Stranger Things.
And I love Stranger Things.
I mean, I do too, but why does the Ghostbusters movie have to look like Stranger Things? Is what my question is. Why?
I was getting kind of Super 8 vibes too a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. Why does it have this mysterious sort of sci-fi adventure tone when Ghostbusters is like a fucking comedy? It's a goofball comedy.
Yeah, I think the comedy is going to be toned down. I think they're going.
Why? I'm confused.
It
looks so. The
Slimer is going to have a human face.
Right? No. Like Jason Reitman, I do like most of his movies, and he's like a drama guy. He does like low key dramedies, and I don't know. I get that your dad made the other one, so is that why you're making this movie? Because I'm very confused by the new Ghostbusters.
I'm going in there with.
I would do Jason Reitman, which means I would one day have to watch Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm not watching this fucking movie right now, though.
When it comes out, you're not going to be one of the first in line.
No. I'm out. I'm out on Finn for one. I'm definitely out on Finn.
I don't know. It could be interesting. A different take.
But here's the other thing: is I love Carrie Coon and I love Paul Rudd.
Oh, Carrie Coon and Paul Rudd. Come on,
love Carrie Coon.
Well, that's. I mean, I mentioned this the second time mentioned on the show, but that's Leftovers right there, baby.
Oh, maybe that's what I should. Now, that might have sold it for me. Maybe now I'll go watch the Leftovers.
So good.
Anyways,
Leftovers.
So you obviously like Ghostbusters.
The first one's excellent. Second one's excellent. A lot of fun. It is. Yeah, I do get where you're coming from by being a little hesitant because it looks like it's a kind of a radical tonal shift.
Right.
But I don't like the. See, that's why I don't like trailers sometimes because right now it's kind of, if you had not seen the trailer, you might be a little more inclined to get there. Maybe it's having the opposite effect that it should on you.
It's a very revolting trailer to me. Yes. Cause I'm just like, why are they trying to make this the Avengers? Why do they have to be heroes? It's weird. And I actually
we saw I don't think I would. Good.
I don't think I would be so weirded out by the trailer if it weren't an obviously direct sequel. You know what I mean? They're referencing the original movie. Dan Aykroyd is in the trailer for a second. It's clearly not supposed to be a reboot. If they were doing okay, we're doing a reboot and it's going to be a little bit more mysterious and kind of dark. Okay, I get that people do that. Whatever. This is a weird thing where it's not that.
I think that Bill Murray knows good scripts and he read it and he decided to do a cameo coming back as Venkman, and I was like, okay. Oh, I like that means they're on the right track. The kids don't need to be heroes or whatever.
I guess but also I should be offer this caveat. I know a lot of people love Ghostbusters and I'm not trying to shit on the thing that you guys like. I don't get it is my thing. Is I'm just watching, I'm like, is that anything like the thing that y'all like? It doesn't look like anything like the thing that y'all like.
Well, I guess when they were making the original Ghost, like Bill Murray would just shut down the set with making people laugh. Like he was just on fire throughout the whole time. Like,
yeah, it's Bill Murray.
Right. So it's, how do you replace that? But I don't know.
Get comedians?
Nah, I don't know, man. It's Bill Murray's kind of one of a kind, but
I'm not saying you recast it, but like if you're doing like a legacy sequel, why? Yeah, if you're doing a legacy sequel, why is the jump not? Let's get a bunch of like modern comedians and get their take, which that's what they did. They literally did that with like Melissa McCarthy and Kristen Wiig or whatever. They already did that movie, which everyone hated because they're all like the Ghostbusters should be boys or whatever the fuck that outrage was. But if you're doing a legacy sequel, why is the move to make all of the Ghostbusters like annoying adventure children?
Yeah, I mean,
that's weird.
I do prefer that it's like a sequel, not a reboot. I'm not a fan of reboots. I think I've came to, because I've seen that movie. I don't want to see that movie again.
Right.
And like reboots, just what are you doing? Like that studio's just rehashing their own stuff.
I'm not even saying like a flat out reboot. I'm saying like reboot the entire property, and instead of it being like, I would understand that more if they were like, we're rebooting it and it's going to be a little bit more of a different tone. It's weird that they're not rebooting it and they're changing the tone.
Sure. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, because if you're following along the lines of the first two, then maybe it's going to be funnier than you think. Maybe
it's a terrible trailer.
Yeah, could be. Let's
wrap it up on the Ghostbusters talk. I should watch the Ghostbusters films. Never seen them.
You'll get to them.
I will eventually. So,
all right.
Okay.
Is that it?
That's it for this episode. And next week we're going. I don't know. We're going to outer space or something like that, and then we're going to come back to Earth and like hang around with Jaden.
Oh, speaking of trailers, man, that might be the most egregious one. We'll get to it, but that might be the most egregious trailer of all time. I mean, it one of the most misleading trailers of all time.
You think so? I mean, we'll get to it. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
We'll talk about it.
But
next episode,
our next episode is on After Earth.
Yep.
Do an After
M. Night
Earth.
Shyamalan classic After Earth.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that this is probably a for hire job, and this is more of a Will Smith movie than an M. Night Shyamalan movie. But he is the credited director, so we are gonna cover it.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you so much. My name's James.
I'm Brent.
Bye.
Bye.